the fall of Damascus, and all of the Levant. After Aleppo and Hama, Hulagu began to walk to Damascus. The emir of Damascus, al-Nasir Yusuf, was in a previous alliance with Hulagu, but the relationship of al-Nasir Yusuf with Hulagu worsened after he asked Hulagu to help in the attack on Egypt, to include al-Nasir Yusuf to his rule. Hulagu felt that Nasir Yusuf believed that he was an independent prince, so he decided to subjugate him. He sent a message demanding his complete surrender, or else he would invade Damascus. The threatening message reached al-Nasir Yusuf. Al-Nasir Yusuf felt that he would lose everything if he surrendered. Al-Nasir Yusuf decided to disobey and raise the banner of jihad against the Mongols, even though he was one of the most cooperative princes with the Mongols in their war on Baghdad and the city of Mayafrikan. Al-Nasir Yusuf used to manipulate the feelings of his people and followers to protect himself. Al-Nasir Yusuf set up a military camp in the east of Damascus. The armies of Hulagu approached Damascus, and al-Nasir Yusuf met with his aides to consult on what to do, and in the end the majority decided to withdraw and flee from Damascus. These cowards, al-Nasir Yusuf, and the princes of the army and soldiers will flee and leave the city of Damascus without protection. Leaders and princes like al-Nasir Yusuf command resistance and defense as long as the danger of invasion is far from them, and if the enemy's armies approach them, they flee. The Damascus army fled. The residents of Damascus gathered and cursed al-Nasir Yusuf and his fugitive soldiers and described them as cowards and traitors. That was in the year 1260. The people of Damascus were forced to surrender to the Mongols in exchange for safety. But some of the Mujahideen who refused to surrender remained, and they remained fortified in the Damascus citadel. Damascus opened its gates. Before the Tatars entered Damascus, Emperor Mengakan died, and Hulagu was forced to leave the Mongol army and return to the Tatar capital Karakorum. Kublai was appointed a new emperor of the Tatars, Hulagu, who settled in Tabriz, Iran. Hulagu appointed the commander, Kitpuga Enwen, for the Mongol army that would enter Damascus. The Mongols began entering Damascus. Damascus fell 2 years after the fall of Baghdad. The Mongols encountered some resistance in Damascus, especially in its south and in the Damascus citadel, but they were finally able to capture the entire city. And the people of Damascus suffered from the oppression of the Mongols. As for the fugitive al-Nasir Yusuf, the Mongols arrested him with his children and sent him to Hulagu, who tortured them and then killed them. Then the Mongols moved to Jordan and Palestine and occupied the cities of Ajlan, Nablus, and Gaza. And the Levant in southern Turkey fell in 1260. The Mongols threatened to invade Egypt. After the fall of Bilad al-Sham, Hulagu began threatening Egypt and sent a message to the Sultan of the Mamluks in Egypt, who is Saif al-Din Qutuz, demanding his complete and unconditional surrender. The ambassadors of Hulagu abused literature, threatened and provoked Qutuz, so the Sultan caught them and killed them all. This incident was a declaration of war against Hulagu. Qutuz was a man of courage, strength, and wisdom, who had suffered in his childhood from the oppression of the Mongols in Afghanistan. Qutuz is the nephew of Sultan Jabal al-Din ibn Khwarizm. Qutuz was arrested by the Mongols when he was a child. Then the Mongols sold him in the slave markets. Qutuz moved from Afghanistan to Bilad al-Sham and then moved to Egypt. After a period of time, Qutuz was appointed commander of the army of Egypt and then became ruler of Egypt after the death of Sultan al-Din Aibak. Qutuz began making the necessary preparations to confront the Mongols, so he issued a general amnesty to his opponents, worked to train the army, and included all the soldiers fleeing from the Mongols who came from the Levant, from the cities of Hama and Damascus. Qutuz established a powerful army to confront the Mongols, and he relied on Islamic religious scholars such as Al-Iz ibn Abd al-Salam, who called people to mobilize and wage jihad against the Mongols. Qutuz stood among his soldiers, enthusiastic about the fight, and said, "I am ready to fight the Mongols alone." Then he said, "O princes of the Muslims, you have a time to eat from the treasury, and you hate the invaders, and I am going. Whoever chooses jihad to accompany me, and whoever does not choose that, let him return to his home, and God knows best about it, and what will happen to the Muslims, and God will punish the fugitives, because they let fighting." The Egyptian people were enthusiastic about confronting the Tatars, and the people joined the army. At the end of July of the year 1260, Qutuz led his army towards Palestine, passing through the Mediterranean coast in Sinai, and placed at the forefront of the army the strong commander, Rukn al-Din Baybars. Rukn al-Din Baybars arrived in Gaza and attacked the Mongols in it, defeating them. Then the army continued marching to the Ain Jalut area in Palestine. Many of the people of Palestine joined the Qutuz army. And a man came carrying a message from the Emir of Homs to Qutuz saying that he would be with the Mongols, but when starting the battle, he will join the Qutuz army and fight with it against the Mongols. The Mongol army led by Kipuganoing was advancing from Lebanon towards Ain Jalut. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on alerts to receive new videos.